Yo, what's going on YouTube? So the June here. Now we're back in with some Gotham Knights. Now today's video we'll be reacting to the IGN video that goes over the history of Gotham and Gotham Knights. Now in this video from IGN, there is certain segments where they showcase open world gameplay. So there will be some little bits of gameplay in there as well, and also some history and the backstory of Gotham and Gotham Knights. So I want to let you guys know this now in the beginning. But yeah, without further ado, we're about to get into this reaction, and yeah, let's get into it.
Those families, the Waynes, the Cobblepots, the Elliots, the Arkhams, and the Kanes, would build a colonial fort together.
Oh, let me bring this up.
Of dominance in the area.
Yeah, bring my monitor up. I can't see.
The city quickly spread beyond its original bounds, developing 5 boroughs, and in each, one of those 5 founding families would take root. In the early days, the Kanes established themselves on Gotham's natural harbour, now known as Historic Gotham, tying the family to their new country's military might, building ships and weapons of war. By the 1850s, Gotham had become a major trade hub, helped along by the industrialist Cobblepots and their smoke-belching Southside steel mills. Gotham continued to transform over time. In the 1920s, the Elliots took hold of the 20th century's newest means of control, mass media, and built downtown Gotham in a new Art Deco image. By the 1960s, Gotham had truly become a patchwork of industry and architecture. The Arkhams settled in North Gotham, building their famous asylum. Yes, it's in the game, and no, it's not as you've previously seen it. The Waynes, meanwhile, built their billions in New Gotham, helping advance the town into a new technological age. Which brings us to the present day, and the Gotham you'll be exploring as Batman's protégés in Gotham Knights. An open world as soaked in history as it is by
Let's see if we finally get some open world gameplay. I hope.
Warner Brothers Games Montreal created
Oh wow!
early in production, a whole new timeline for a whole new version of Gotham City. And it isn't merely window dressing. The timeline informs everything from the plot, to the gameplay, to the game's biggest mystery, the Court of Owls conspiracy. The team didn't just build an open world to play in, it's truly trying to build a city.
Hey, why it look so empty? Hold it. Oh, never mind. Never mind. Wow.
Take on Gotham are those
oh wow, we really getting some open world gameplay. Hold it.
So for us, the 5 boroughs, it started with the families. The families moved there, they built imposing structures within those districts. So then we built around that to where the identity for those districts really is based off of that family.
Within those boroughs, the team tries to tell stories without simply having someone speak them out loud.
If you visit a city in real life, it's hard to tell some of that history. So because we're making
I ain't gonna lie to it.
Really what we want to do is
it do look kind of big.
Reveal some of that stuff. So there's a lot of areas that are kind of stuck in time, like even something is, kind of generic.
Well, you could go down.
Like it becomes interesting when it's halted construction, or it's now abandoned and overgrown, or it's ruins. All those things are more
I like that
for the player than just a modern city. So we tried to have a lot of those areas where it's almost stuck in time, so the player can really experience what it was back then a little bit too, and see how the city evolved.
The team has historical and gameplay basis for every new environment. Take the Cauldron, built into the Cobblepot's lower Gotham area.
We always would like to tell a story with every borough, and there's one specific one that is not necessarily related to the family, but is an effect of some of the projects that those families undertook, which was a mining operation that happened in a riverbed. So they decided to wall off 2 sides of a portion in the water, and they dredged it for mining operations. It would attract workers for the mining operation. It was low-cost housing. It remained like actually a slum.
The Cauldron's history is written into its walls, with tumble-down buildings and cramped, unplanned streets, all set in the shadow of the more prosperous districts around it. All of this is a distinct gameplay choice too.
This spot is kind of like a transition area between the financial district and the south side. So we have like 2 very different themes, while being in a 3rd theme that is very organic, has a complete different way for the player to navigate over. It's a lot more parkouring. So the player always has the choice to pick the best tool and the best navigation verb to be as efficient as possible. And with different neighborhoods that
Wait, did that?
give you different experiences.
Wait, did that
This
bike
improvised
just spawn
history
in
of
out
the
of
game
nowhere?
can
Hold
be
it.
seen across the city. The once beautiful Robinson Park is a symbol of the city's decay, but it's also
And that's
an
another thing I
open
noticed
space
with
where
Robin's
you can
teleportation. It got a
self-capture
timer
the
on it.
world
I did not see that at
inside.
first.
The enormous Elliott Center is a literally gilded reminder of the family patriarch, complete with a museum exhibit about the family inside.
Oh, that's the old gameplay.
Multi-layered bit of vertical level design built to house the
That's from the
missing freeze
2020
box
gameplay.
later in the game. And it's not just that timeline that acts as history here either. While this is a new take on Gotham, it includes many references to the comic books it's drawing from. Of course,
Dang, you
there are
could really get some
buildings
distance with
right down
Robin
to
with that
detailed
teleportation.
references like Noonan's sleazy bar from Garth Ennis's Hitman series, but the very fabric of Gotham itself acts as an Easter egg in places. Perhaps most interesting is that this Gotham has a public history and a secret history. We already know the game will center on the Court of Owls, a shadowy, manipulative group born of the founding families. Gotham itself will reflect that conspiratorial past too.
One of the things that we love about the Court of Owls, aside from the fact that it's a new, fresh addition. To
Oh,
the
Patrick
franchise,
Redding, W Patrick.
They represent a threat that is so embedded and so intrinsic to Gotham City that even Batman doesn't know about it. And the notion of a threat that is so intimately tied to a city that he considers to be his city, that he knows like the back of his hand, that he's been patrolling for literally decades at this point. That's a very intimidating and scary idea. With that in mind, what we knew is that we needed to give you a sense of Gotham's history in order to be able to show all the ways in which the court is embedded in that. That feeling that Gotham is kind of an adversary and that Court of Owls is the embodiment of that, the personification of it.
The phrase commonly used at the studio for this is that they didn't just build up, creating those hugely visible landmark buildings and stories for every new district, but that they also built down.
We started to imagine how the form of the city could be affected by that. And it started kind of help suggest a geography, an urban geography to the city, going all the way back to like the late 1600s. And then we started to think, okay, well, what were the major events?
Oh, boy, I thought they glitched the video. I was about to say.
The kind of exploitation of the West, like the building of the railroads, like all of these ideas became part of that conversation and allowed us to kind of build layers of accreted history. And we built it up and we built it down. Like we said, okay, what's buried under the city? Like, what are the hidden secrets that you can find in the course of investigating the Court of Owls?
Naturally, the team isn't talking too much about what those buried secrets might be, but we see
Understandable.
hints of it as we're shown Gotham's open world. A seemingly nondescript building might be a gang hideout, which leads to a tunnel system that brings you into an exit into Gotham that you would never have guessed at.
I like
You want
that.
the Court of
That's a
Owls
W
to be
design
like
right there.
and everything. If you were to go to a major city in North America, like often they'll build a city on top of another one. Like Chicago, like they had the fire, they just built on top of it because it's not worth like rebuilding, destroying and rebuilding. So what the undergrounds allow us to do is kind of reveal that cross section of the city. So we have areas like that where you drop in, you keep going and you see things that you didn't know were there, that you didn't know the city was built on top of. And I think that's a really cool element. We try to allow the player to see kind of behind the scenes of the city, go under the surface, and as well as seeing it from up high from the
Well, I mean, like, he's
The result
just
is
in a whole
that
nother
this
world.
game
Hold
of
it.
Gotham aims to feel like a legitimate place, not just a sandbox for spandex crime fighting. We've heard before that this will be the largest Gotham ever made in game form, but that's not what the developers are proud of.
We made a very big Gotham City, but what I think is really unique to Gotham Knights is the density of it. Sometimes I will be searching for something or fighting a crime and not realize how close to me something
I ain't gonna lie, that is a big. When you really think about it, that is a big Gotham right there.
There's just such a depth of nooks and crannies to explore inside our city, and I think that that's really unique to Gotham Knights.
The idea of a Gotham packed with references, miniature histories, and sinister mysteries is alluring. After all, this is the promise of a town with real backstory, that it's not just the people living there who'll help tell the story, but the city itself. Gotham has been many things to many people. It's appeared in comics, movies, and gaming worlds.
They showed the Batman. Hold it.
Repeatedly traveling through time with us from block color 40s issues of Detective Comics to the grey monoliths of Christopher Nolan's trilogy. But all of those versions of Gotham have been snapshots of a city in its current form. Perhaps the
That
most
is true.
interesting thing about Gotham Knights version is that we won't just
I
see
just
the
saw a
city
little
as it
thing
is,
glitching on Robin.
but hopefully learn what it's been.
Okay.
We'll be covering
That's
Gotham
not
Knights
bad.
and offering exclusive footage all this month as part of IGN First. And if you want to see what we've already done, we have 16 minutes of the opening gameplay from the game,
Okay.
and we've revealed 28 new superhero suits that you'll be able to unlock.
Okay, that's not bad. So basically, what we got, we did get some open world gameplay. It mainly showed Robin, and the main things I could take from this is the fact is when like there's a Gotham above, and there's like a whole nother city below, and you could go through that, and you could go into bars. We seen like Robin walk into a bar, then it goes into a whole nother section where you could actually go out, and you could be in the bottom of Gotham and just come out. I ain't gonna lie, that's pretty dope. I think mainly people are going to just be, just looking forward to the little open world gameplay sections that we did get from this, and those were cool to an extent, but they mainly just went over like the history of Gotham itself and just showcased like what they actually did when it comes to building Gotham City, which is cool. But yeah, I'll say it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad to me. We got to see a little bit more about Robin's teleportation though. It has a duration towards it, so you can travel some distance, but it seems like you only got, if I remember correctly, I think you only got like 10 seconds on it, I think, which is fine. Like you can travel a lot of distance with 10 seconds, but I'm not sure how the cooldown works on it. But yeah, that is pretty much it. We got a little bit of open world gameplay for Robin. We got to learn more about Gotham City, and yeah, that is pretty much it for this. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed today's video as I enjoyed making it. Before we head out, if you guys are not, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to turn on our post notifications to miss a video and also be notified when I upload. And most importantly, make sure you hit that like button. Now I do live stream on Twitch, so if you guys want to come out to the Twitch streams, the link is below for that one as well. But yeah, this is June here. Without further ado, I'm gone. Peace.